right. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for a very special edition of Unwind by SaaS 22. If you're not familiar with Unwind and SaaS 22, SaaS 22 helps companies like Rocketlane with partner-led growth. And Unwind is where, unlike traditional SaaS conferences or webinars that are typically filled with presentations, we have leaders who come in and have frank, honest conversations about what they do. Today, we have with us a special edition where we're going to talk about all things PSA and related spaces. We have with us Heather. Heather is the head of alliances at Rocketlane, which is a modern PSA and customer onboarding platform. And we also have Chris Cowlard, who is the senior director of global delivery and SaaS at Xceptor, which is an intelligent data automation platform. With that, I will hand it over to Heather and Chris so that they can do a better introduction and also jump into our subject matter that we're here to talk about. So over to you, folks.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, it's wonderful to be speaking with you. And I'm Heather Pertel. I run partnerships and alliances here at Rocketlane. And Rocketlane really is a modern professional services automation tool. One of the things that I always recommend we make sure we're doing in these conversations is not leaning too hard on our acronyms, because I know I am terrible about that. My husband is convinced that I only speak a different language at work. And so, really what we do is we provide tools for professional services teams and onboarding teams to allow them to do their jobs more effectively, more efficiently, and have better collaboration with their customers. Rocketlane headquartered in India and has offices in the US and the UK. Chris, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and Xceptor?
Yeah, sure. Happy to. Thank you, Heather. So Chris Cowlard. I work at Xceptor and I run the client delivery and the SaaS services which we provide to our clients. I've lived and breathed financial services and client delivery for over 30 years now. And so, I've experienced lots of different ways of working with clients, lots of different flavors of delivery, big organizations I've worked in, small organizations, really joined to help be part of the growth of the organization. Xceptor provides AI and data automation for capital markets clients. We have a large number of clients across the world, and we're reaching the point where we have unprecedented demand for our services and for our engagement with clients. And we needed a partner, as in Rocketlane, in order to go on that journey with us to make sure that we could scale our business and create accurate and readily available data for both our clients and our internal management.
Awesome. I was going to say, I think AI is the topic of let's just say it's at least the topic of the year. If not, I feel like it's going to be the topic of the next few years. And I wanted an opportunity to, set a little bit more of a broader context on what PSA is, why it matters. And please feel free to chat with me about this as I sort of bring up these concepts. But I think you hit on a couple of the key things that we really bring to the table and why a PSA is really helpful for software firms and for services firms, especially as they continue to grow. PSA is really, it's not a new space. People have been delivering projects for many moons. But as a specific software category, we have there are sort of older tools that have existed that typically came out of ERP solutions or other, large softwares. And really what a modern PSA is and what Rocketlane aimed to do was really take the experience of building their own software company. Our founders, they built a software company that eventually sold to Freshworks. But when they were building that company and as they were growing, one of the things that they realized is one of the biggest challenges they ran into was making sure that clients were easily and well onboarded and that projects were delivered well. And so with Rocketlane, we really came out of the onboarding space and moved into the professional services automation space really seamlessly, because by definition, by starting with onboarding, then projects got more and more complicated and we truly moved into the delivery side of the house, really always thinking about a customer first experience. Because I think the biggest challenge with all projects, and Chris, I would love your opinion here, is the collaboration aspect with the customer, because it doesn't matter if you're doing everything you can to keep a project on track and on time. If you're not getting the components or feedback that you need from your customer along the way, that can be exceptionally challenging. If it's hard to share that information, it's challenging. And one of the things that we think we bring to the table is obviously a solution that is, we're only 4 years old, 5 years old now. We're a 5-year-old company. We've built on a modern tech stack, and we really are, once again, customer first, but also AI first. So we've started to add AI features and are developing our application with the combination of professional services needs and what AI can do to help those professional services. But Chris, I'd love your feedback and thoughts on sort of my opinions and thoughts there.
Sorry, TJ. I'm not sure if it's my connection, but I didn't catch a lot of what Heather was saying there. It may be my bad connection at this end or hers. I'm not sure. Did it sound okay to you?
It sounded fine to me. Don't worry about it. Heather, if you wouldn't mind going ahead and repeating some of what you
just repeat
said.
the question. Yeah, apologies. Yeah, it didn't sound good to me. So it's just the connection.
No worries. If I shorten the context, the question I posed to you was really, was really about the fact that Rocketlane is a newer technology. We've only been around for about 5 years. We seamlessly moved from onboarding to PSA because as projects got more complex and our customers had more complex needs, we really understood that the combination of project management as well as that customer collaboration for professional services leaders was really important, and that we, from a roadmap perspective, we are really trying to combine the professional services leaders' needs with the best AI out there in order to make your job, happier and easier. And I wanted to get your feedback and thoughts on that.
Yeah, thank you, Heather. Yeah, I think one of the reasons we engaged with Rocketlane was that we wanted to have a partner who was as engaged and as focused as us on driving efficiencies and driving support and AI capabilities for both our own staff and our clients' needs. As I said, we're a company that provide automated management services to our clients. So, if I look historically, I've worked at organizations that manage their projects on some combinations of spreadsheets or unique to different tooling. We wanted to have a standard way of managing our projects in a standard tool, which enabled us to scale the business. So the only way of us doing that is to have streamlined processes and to use automation from which Rocketlane provides to us to be able to manage our workflow and to manage the processes through our client delivery functions. One point of view, we wanted to be able to make sure that our project managers and our consultants had the right tooling that supported them and helped drive their own efficiencies. And from the other side, from our senior management point of view, I and my senior management want to be able to have visibility across the portfolio. So when I look at Rocketlane, we can have a standard way of delivering to our clients. So our clients get the same look and feel, the same quality of service that they get from my teams, regardless of where around the world that is. And they get to see the information. I get to see the information. So I can combine risks and issues or status reports for projects across multiple jurisdictions or product portfolio areas, which means that I can really see what's happening in my business and can be able to show my shareholders and my clients what's important to them. It also means that I can see the main sort of focus areas or the main themes of issues or changes which are happening in projects. I can draw that out, and Rocketlane really enables me to do that. So the partnership that we have with Rocketlane is a strong one. We have a very close engagement with their product team, and we work very closely on changes which the Rocketlane team are enabling within our product. Not just about AI. AI is an important part of that. There are AI capabilities which we're already making use of now, but there are also standard automation capabilities and ways of managing everything ranging from upfront estimation of projects through delivery, through client testing, out towards invoicing and financial management. So all of those different areas within Rocketlane truly enable me to see my business, to be able to represent my business to my senior management, and to be clear and to be comfortable that my clients are getting a standard and quality service.
And do you find that leveraging Rocketlane, I think one of the reasons I was excited, I've actually only joined Rocketlane about 3 months ago. And one of the things I was excited about from a product perspective was really that ability to engage with your end client as appropriate and where that you needed their feedback, their information, adjustments, approvals, etc., during the project process. Have you found that to be, what was that like before Rocketlane and what's that like for you now?
Yeah, I think as I said before, it's about standardization. It's about, if I look back in time pre-Rocketlane, we had different ways, different people had different ways of doing things. Some were good, some were bad, but they were all different. And so we reflect our delivery processes to our clients as not one unified standard company. And that's important. It's important for me, and it's important to show that we present a quality service to our clients. We're using Rocketlane for obviously managing our projects, but also one important context it gives us is because we're logging all of our time bookings into Rocketlane, and we use it for our capacity planning. So we use it when we look out into the future. Where do we have people assigned onto which projects? It really does enable us to get better fungibility of resource and to be able to spot the hotspots that we have around different project areas, make sure that we can see those issues coming and deal with them in advance. One of the things that we have seen a really improved visibility is around our financial management. So I can truly see the costs of projects, the P&L, the margins. Rocketlane provides some very good functionality around sort of graphing and charting that, seeing that over time, that sort of information where we can share that both, I can use that for my own management purposes. I share that with my exec team. It gives them visibility around what's happening. It brings people from other areas of the organization into our world as well. So as I use that information to share data with our sales teams and with our support teams, with our client success teams, those sorts of people get involved and start to get a better understanding of what is it that those client delivery folk do? What do they spend their time doing? Why, what is the challenge of X or challenge Y? It starts to enable us to present our challenges and ask for help, ask for assistance from other areas as well. So that enablement of sharing data that we can trust, that's up to date, that's high quality, and that's available is second to none for me.
And not to put you on the spot, but at what point in sort of the sales process do you start to get information from your sales team that allows you to start doing that planning or start building out those projects from a planning perspective?
Yeah, look, it's a good question because I think, if every time you look at client delivery or, implementations from our point of view, it never starts when the deal's signed or when it's handed over into the project environment. If it does, we have a problem right from day one. Yeah.
Exactly.
So a lot of our interaction is pre-sale, pre the contract being signed. We work with our sales teams very closely, whether it's demonstrating things to clients, working with clients in workshops, that type of thing. But right at that early point, we are providing proposals and estimations of work that is going to ultimately form into a project. So we use Rocketlane for that estimations process. We use Rocketlane to store those estimations and to manage that sort of estimate process and workflow as we go through that pre-sales environment. It means that once we get into a project establishment or initiation phase, then we have the data already. We have it in the right form, in the right place that we need it, and it's high quality. So we have it all together there.
So it sounds like it's really helping
it's
that.
all about that seamless handover.
Yeah, and it sounds like it's helping that sales to delivery handoff, which I think is a big challenge for most organizations. It sounds like you really have leveraged that for great collaboration, which only benefits your clients at the end of the day, and make sure that they understand what the delivery is expected to, what the project is expected to deliver, and once again, it allows you to plan for the correct resources to be available and all of the fun that goes with that. That's fantastic. What else?
Exactly
What
right.
else? What other things are you seeing from a positive perspective for your business with leveraging Rocketlane?
Yeah, so I think look, when I look at some of the key elements that we are seeing making a difference right now, we are now expanding our the visibility of Rocketlane, not just around the organization. So we have other teams looking at what's happening and what we're doing and what we're providing, but we're enabling that and opening that visibility up to our clients. So we're in the first step of that right now, where we have clients using the Rocketlane portal. So they're using the portal from Rocketlane. Our clients directly come in externally. They log in and they look at we use it for tracking project issues right now. So clients raise an issue if they're going through UAT stage, if they go through their testing capabilities through the project lifecycle. They will go in and they raise within the Rocketlane portal issues. They can report on them. We can update them. We can pass them back to them. The good thing about that is that it's a common issues list. because this is always a challenge on implementations. Whose issues list is the golden source? Well, we've got a version, you've got a version. This is a nice way of having a central version of a golden source of the issue. Everyone can see it, everyone can contribute to it centrally. But it's also what then behind the scenes we use to track our time against. So we can track our time directly against those issues. We can manage that information. We can use that to generate and understand how much time do we spend on different things. And we can report on that internally or externally. We're using that as a first phase in opening out our visibility of what's inside Rocketlane and essentially how we manage projects to our clients on a wider basis. Ultimately, I see us getting to, my vision is to enable our clients to see in real time as much as we can see and how we're managing projects. I want to be able to share, and Rocketlane gives us that capability. This is really down on us to enable it. It's about how do we enable Rocketlane, how do we enable our clients to see our project plans and where we are on different tasks, on what are the risks and issues lists, and be able to see financials. How much did we bill them last month? How much are we planning to bill them next month? Right now, all of that's essentially our project managers. My project managers are extracting that data out of Rocketlane, putting them into PowerPoint and then sending them to the client. I'd like to cut PowerPoint out of the middle of that process, and I'd like our clients to just come straight in and see that data. I think that will be really important to give our clients real-time access to that data, keep them up to date. But it will also be, for me, a massive step forward in and really underline the trust and the engagement that we have with our clients, because they will be seeing the same data we'll be seeing. We'll be working off a common data set. So for me, that's going to be a really big thing that we're focusing on over the next few months in conjunction with the Rocketlane team. We're working through enabling that.
Which is fantastic. And once again, you're really continuing to expand what we view as a very core differentiator of the Rocketlane product is that ability to share as much or as little information as is appropriate with your clients. And I do think that can be a big transformation for a professional services organization to continue to build that trust, to leverage that feature functionality. And I will say that our customers that are leveraging that really do appreciate that there are still things that, you need to have an internal conversation about an issue or what have you. You still can do that, but you can expose the fact that there is an issue to that client and allow them to provide feedback. And so I'm really excited to hear how that rollout goes, and to have you get to really take some time back from your project managers and not having to create these PowerPoints and what have you in the future, and really start to be able to leverage some templates that you can create in Rocketlane so that they're consistently delivering or sharing out within the platform, to your customers, the right information at the right point in time. That's super exciting. Now, are there any, and once again, don't want to put you on the spot here, Chris, but are there any metrics or specific things you could point to that have changed, either from a capacity or a margin, or any metrics that have changed in your business, pre and post sort of Rocketlane? And obviously the post Rocketlane will continue to evolve and change, but I'm just curious if there's anything you're comfortable sharing.
Yeah, I think, look, as we move forward, I think, as you said, the future evolution for me is about getting clients visibility and access to the system and getting their real-time engagement, and also enabling those AI tools within the system so that we can drive better efficiency for my staff in managing projects. But if I look at what's changed dramatically, or what are those improvements that I can see and that I can touch on this on the engagement, I think one element is about just our financial management of projects. If I look pre-Rocketlane, I couldn't really have pointed you out or told you what the margin was on a project, where we were spending our time to any great deal of detail. So where does our time get expended on particular projects? How efficient are we on our projects? I get that information now. So I do get a good fine-grained level of detail around where staff spend their time and about our financial planning. So I can see P&L on projects. I can understand that. I can understand the features or the elements of the projects that are high quality or high efficiency, and which ones perhaps do we need to make more focus on. And I think those elements, as well as the automation of certain project management capabilities through the life cycle, have been key for me as well. So, AI is one thing, and we're definitely starting to see some value from the AI capabilities in the tool to be able to generate documentation for us. But even before that, just automation, you mentioned it about some of the automation of the templates, where we create project templates, we can then use that to automatically perform tasks without us needing to do them. That is immeasurably valuable to us as well.
Yeah, and once again, you're hitting on some of the points to get me excited about the application. And I think that's fantastic. I think one of the things I've seen across customers is really, being able to take, since they're leveraging leveraging templates within the application, they're able to take that data and look across projects and see this point in every project, or this phase of every project, we're either over or underestimating the hours that it takes for us to accomplish that, and be able to adjust. Moving forward, you have the data, so you're able to adjust what that project template would look like moving forward, so that once again, I think it helps you improve that estimation and really allow you to deliver more efficiently, more effectively, and find those bottlenecks. Once again, be able to highlight the good and also understand where you can make improvement. So that's super exciting to hear. Is there anything else you'd like to share about sort of your current process that's been a differentiator or a change? Or anything that you're outside of, obviously we've talked about exposing more project information along the way with your customers. Or is there anything else that you're excited to leverage as you grow and continue to use the product?
Yeah, look, I think yes, there's a lot of things that we're using and we're starting to make use of. I think one of the things I feel probably more guilty about is that we're not making enough use of all of the features of the product. A lot of that is about timing and making sure that we do things in the right way. I run a global team across multiple jurisdictions, so I need to make sure that we have that standard approach rolled out to all of my teams, and that everybody's aiming in the same direction. But those, you mentioned things like templates, enabling us to use project templates to align our estimation process with those, and to have multiple templates for different types of projects is important for me. When I deliver to clients, I deliver an Xceptor system for tax processing. It's very different from one for confirmations and affirmations processing. And sometimes we'll be dealing with clients who want us to do all of the work. Sometimes the client will want to build up their own capability and to run, to make Xceptor change in their own systems. There's lots of different flavors for projects, but I can model all of those in Rocketlane as different templates with automation steps in each one of those. And I can manage that workflow so that the client can understand right from the beginning what's going to happen through their journey with us, both through the initial implementation and beyond into a more of a live running and enabling them to make change for themselves. So it really does help guide our life through with the client through that implementation process. And as we move forward with them, how we become more efficient and how they can help us on that journey.
Fantastic. So one of the things I did want to mention is, talking a little bit about sort of at what point does a services organization really need a PSA tool? Because I think the answer is it depends, I think, for a lot of folks. But I think that sort of the moment that spreadsheets get a little too complicated, where, you don't know the actual sort of skill set and all the detail of every person in your organization. I would say, we've got companies with teams as small as 10 people using, 5 or 10 people using our application, as well into the thousands. But, for you, as a PS leader, so what are some of the key moments in growth in a company that you think sort of hit these marks where really leveraging a PSA tool or technology is a true game changer as opposed to a nice to have?
Yeah, sure. Look, it's a good question. I've worked in larger organizations that use spreadsheets. I've worked in smaller organizations that use applications to manage this. So, and I think, so, is there a rule that tells you when you should or shouldn't have done? I'm not sure about that. For me, and the reason why it was important for us at Xceptor to engage with Rocketlane was because we have a complexity of delivery processes today, and we foresee and we plan and we are now seeing expansion and growth in our organization. So my ability to manage our business in a year's time, I just don't think I'd do it without Rocketlane. So if I was looking back at how things were working previously, if I was still in that world, even today, there would be too many errors, too many risks in what we're managing, and too many manual processes. So not only would my costs be higher, but my opportunity for making errors and risks would be higher too. So for me, it's an absolute must. I think there's no doubt in my mind that Rocketlane was the right choice for this business, and it's the right choice for us going forward. So I see both today, the tool has industry standard capabilities to manage my projects, my capacity planning, my financial reporting, my client interaction now, as I've said, all in one place and with standardization and with a quality. And I can see that as I move forward, they're a partner which are working with me. We have a very good, close relationship with the client success teams and the product teams at Rocketlane. So looking and understanding and being part of their roadmap is important for me, because I love to build new things and understand how new things are working. So being able to onboard those new capabilities and to make use of Rocketlane's new abilities within the system is important for me, because my business is growing and I don't want to have to, as my client base doubles, I don't want to double my workforce. I want to be able to become more efficient, and I want to enable my teams to be able to do the value add work, because I know that Rocketlane has my back and does the planning and the capability behind the scenes. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, with that in mind, one of the things I'm excited to see as we continue to roll out innovation within the Rocketlane platform, and that is actually one of the other things I get super excited about with regards to Rocketlane, is that it's a very innovative company, and we continue to we started with things like AI fills to hopefully make things like building SOWs and other documents more efficient, leveraging that, but we're continuing down the path of really trying to make sure that as each of your consultants or project managers are doing their jobs, that, as we expand our AI capabilities, they'll really have sort of an AI best bud that is sitting there behind the scenes executing some tasks that we can leverage AI for and what have you. We've also we're expanding our language capabilities out on our portal and then within the application. So I think there's some exciting things, especially with an international business like yourselves, that are coming down the pipe on our end. And I know that we will continue to host webinars and things like that share those capabilities and obviously share those with our clients. And I love that we do really view our customers as our partners in this journey. I joke, I may run partnerships, but I have conversations with customers and partners on a daily basis, because it is really truly a partnership between Rocketlane and our customers. And we do take a lot of feedback from folks like you around what our roadmap is going to look like. How do we continue to be a leader in change and growth in the PSA space? So I think this is a really wonderful moment in time, and I look forward to our continued partnership. Is there anything else you want us to cover? I was going to say,
Yeah,
we can
go
talk
for it.
about other stuff. Is there something we haven't brought up that would be useful? I'm just thinking out loud here.
I mean, in my mind, I think, at least as per the initial plan, we've kind of, gone over everything that we wanted to. Thank you, Chris and Heather. So if, Chris, there's nothing more that you want to add, I'm happy to kind of go ahead and close this out with a sort of formal ending to this all. And then, yeah, we just process the recording.
I would love to chat for just a couple of minutes after we stop recording, if that's cool with everyone.
Yeah, sure.
Perfect.
Cool,
Awesome.
cool. All right, then I'm gonna jump into closing this. So, all right. Thank you so much, Heather and Chris. It was really wonderful for me to set the stage for both of you to speak. I think this is the first time I've been in the same room as a Rocketlane customer. And for me, I've learned so much more about PSA, about project management than I thought, I'd have walked away with. Heather, I know you and we've talked several times before, almost on a daily basis, and I have over the last 4 or 5 years seen the Rocketlane product and its evolution over the years, but to see how it really impacts a business in daily life, like Xceptor and someone like Chris's role, it's truly been an eye opener for me. So thank you, Heather, and thank you, Chris, for taking time out to actually talk to us about this. And I mean this in the most sincere way possible. It was really awe-inspiring for me to listen to how your world works and just, learning and taking all of that in. And for those of you who will be watching this recording, thank you so much for unwinding with us. And if you'd like to know more about Rocketlane, if you'd like to know more about PSA, partnerships, or if you'd like to suggest who we should talk to next, all our social media links are available. So once again, thank you for joining us.